Dario Saric clearly didn't work out with the Warriors over the second half of the season. I don't know. I kind of think about the start of the season and how well he played, but much of that was based on his pairing with Chris Paul. Obviously, we think CP3 is not going to be back. Therefore, do you want to keep Saric? I'm not going to be totally adverse. Like, if they re-sign Dario on the minimum, I'm not going to spit the dummy, throw out the bathwater, and get real angry about it. I'm not. I also wouldn't love it. And so my prediction is that he probably signs. I don't think his season was good enough to be getting more than what he got last season, which was the minimum, 2.7 million or whatever. I don't think his year was good enough to get any more than that from any team. So I think ultimately he would look at how his season finished with the Warriors being out of the rotation and with CP3 probably not returning. And I would imagine that he would probably depart for a minimum contract elsewhere. Is there a slight chance his NBA career is over? Maybe he could maybe get a better offer in Europe somewhere. I don't know. I still think he's good enough to be picked up by an NBA team. I don't think he's got to the point yet where he needs to be out of the NBA entirely, but I'd be surprised if he's back with the Warriors. Lester Quinones is another one. Look, I don't think this is going to be a priority for the Warriors until perhaps weeks into free agency. Like, it's going to be one where you're looking at this guy as the 13th or 14th guy on the roster, and therefore, how does that play out? I think it would take some weeks to happen, see what other options are potentially available. Again, certainly not going to be against re-signing Lester and having him on a guaranteed deal as 13th or 14th guy on the roster. However, again, I'm not necessarily going to be too distraught if he goes to another team, gets a better deal elsewhere. It's kind of like Ty Jerome. Like Ty Jerome last season, where the Warriors actually had interest in bringing back Ty Jerome as kind of a third string point guard. He ended up getting a better deal and leaving for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And it's a situation like that where it's not going to hurt you if he leaves. It's really, just from a purely on-court production standpoint, it's not going to hurt if he leaves. But at the same time, it's not going to hurt either if you bring him back on a minimum deal to be the 13th or 14th guy on your roster. Like, he had a 10, 15 game stretch there mid-season where the Warriors had a heap of injuries, where he was a legitimately reasonable, okay rotation player and played all right. Shot the ball 37% from deep this season. Plays hard, tries hard on defense, rebounds the ball pretty well for a guard. He's a reasonable rotation player, right? And I don't think he's necessarily going to get that opportunity with the Warriors next season. We'll wait and see what happens with Clay, I suppose. That might play a big part in it. But again, it's not really, whether he stays or goes, it's not really going to matter too much.